Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first episode of Hull City Transfer Talk for this summer transfer window. Today, a couple of contract updates or lack thereof, and a lot of Twitter panic over the lack of rumours, plus an update on Uriel Theli and what the new government ruling could mean for him. All of that and more after this. Well, on that note, let's start with Uriel Theli then. First of all, welcome. It's good to be doing these again. I've picked a lovely week to start it. I'm going to try and make this weekly as we run up to the new season. If you're unfamiliar with this, basically what I do every summer transfer window, once a week, I come for a walk. I'm going to do it on a Friday this year. I will come for a walk if it's nice weather. If it's peeing it down, I'll stay inside and just talk to you about transfers basically. And let's start, like I say, with Uriel Theli, who we obviously signed in January but had to loan straight back out because of work permit stuff, and the fact that because he didn't have the required work permit points, he can't play for us. The government and the FA, the Home Office and the FA, have been working together to try and find a way around that, and now Premier League and Championship clubs can sign and register for players who don't meet the work permit points. In League 1 and League 2, this is 2 players that you're allowed to have from abroad who need a work permit but don't have the required points. So Theli would qualify for that, and he can play for us in January when he comes back from his loan out in Peru, which is positive. A couple of people speculated that he'd be out, we'd recall him now, but that's not going to be the case. That will absolutely not be the case. It wouldn't do his development any good, really. He's out there playing games, so we might as well. In terms of outgoings, as we move on, none really. Couple of contract updates. There have been no updates on contracts offered to David Robson and a couple of the under-21s. So that the under-21s players are Ollie Green, Sincere Hall, Tom Nixon, Harry Fisk, and a couple more as well. The way it worked last year, the same players were offered contracts again, like Fisk, Leake, Jarvis, Ollie Green. And at the end of their contracts, and what we've done this year is we've activated the 1-year option we held on their deals, and those signings of those new contracts, sorry about the wind, were confirmed on the 15th of the 6th. So depending on how negotiations have gone, we should get an update on that fairly soon, hopefully. But like I say, time will tell. On to ins now, where we've had a lot of rumours over the past week or 10 days. And we'll start with the most ludicrous one of the lot, really. Turkish press reported that we were going to get former Valencia striker, Uruguay international, and currently at Trabzonspor striker, Maxi Gomez, which would have been ridiculous. And I am very surprised that it didn't happen, a rumour like that for a player of his quality, a striker who scored goals for fun in La Liga, wasn't rumoured last summer by the Turkish press. But it was never going to happen, really, was it? And Hull Live local sources, Baz Cooper, have confirmed that is the case, because, to put it simply, his wages would be absolutely astronomical, and we don't have the room in the budget for that, and to still be within FFP. So that will absolutely not happen, but he's on the thumbnail because, why not? We'll move on to Carl Darlow watch now. He is on the thumbnail. We all want Carl Darlow back. I can speak for the entire fan base in saying that we want Carl Darlow back. And this week there's been rumoured interest from Middlesbrough. That's come from Alan Nixon and Team Talk, which aren't necessarily the most reliable sources, but they've still got City fans on Twitter absolutely losing their collective bleep that, Joe, in editing, remember, about it. We don't need to panic. It's still June. The window only opened 3 days ago. So we have absolutely no reason to worry whatsoever. But the Athletic report that Newcastle want to keep both Martin Dubravka and Loris Karius as backups to Nick Pope. So that would free up Carl Darlow. The Athletic, typically reliable, and they did state that Liam Rosenior and Hull City remain keen, naturally, and that is positive. And Baz Cooper reported this week that there is still hope and confidence that we can get that deal over the line for Carl Darlow on a permanent basis. On to another player we had on loan last season, and another player in the thumbnail, Aaron Connolly. The Mirror reported that we were still going in for Connolly, and that is something I would quite like to still do, because I thought he was pretty decent in the limited time we had him. But Hull Live have said that he is no longer a target for us, which is a shame, because I think had his injury been muscular, I'd have been worried, and I would agree with what Baz has reported. But the injury isn't muscular. It was a freak break where he just had a ball kicked at his toe and the entire thing shattered. And, I still think he's worth the risk. He's somewhat different. He's somewhat different to what we've already got in Oscar and Tete. But I'm sure Rosenior will still be interested in players of that ilk and of the Connolly mould anyway. And on that note, Baz Cooper also reported about work being done behind the scenes to get deals done. We've agreed a deal for one player whose club aren't currently willing to let him go until they've sorted a replacement out. And we've also agreed terms with a player. One of those two players is an attacking player, which I'm reporting now. But he's had another load of offers, which puts him in a difficult position because he's waiting to make a decision to make sure he makes the move that's right for his career. And both of those things are only natural at this time. It's early days in the transfer window, and like I say, people on Twitter losing their minds. There's no need to panic. The window's been open 3 days. It's June. We have no reason to panic just yet. On to another ludicrous rumour now. According to the Goalpost News, who when I wrote this note had 58 followers on Twitter, say that we are interested in Jason Knight from Derby, worked with Liam Rosenior before. And to back this story up, Stephen Kenny, Republic of Ireland manager, Jason Knight, Republic of Ireland international, did say that Jason Knight is on the verge of a move to a championship club. That move hasn't been confirmed just yet. Might it be us? I don't know. But coming from a page that is calling it an exclusive with 58 followers on Twitter, I would not necessarily believe that one. On to another couple of weird rumours. Erfan Can Kahveci from Fenerbahce, Turkish international. It was rumoured, and then it wasn't. There was no way we were ever going to sign him, really. 27-year-old, his wages will be astronomical. It's not a signing we need to make, really. So that one came and went. Well, it went as quickly as it came. That's probably the best way to sum that one up. And then last one from Turkish press today. According to Ege Postasa, City are interested in young Turkish midfielder Eren Erdoğan. Now, before I read that story, I did not know who he was. And all I know is that he's a young Turkish midfielder, and because of that, naturally, the link from Turkish press to Acun is quite an easy one to make. Again, take it with a pinch of salt until it's reported that something is actually happening on that front by local media, like the BBC, Radio Humberside, or by Baz Cooper. That's the approach you should take with Turkish press rumours. That's what I would say about that. Final obscure one before we come a little bit closer to home. We've got, according to African football journalist Fode Mane, I think that's how you say his name. I may well have butchered that, but hey, who knows? And the wind's picking up now, so I can't even read my sheet. We are interested. There's been nothing other than interest expressed so far in Gambia and Zulta Varagam winger Aliou Fadera. I don't know anything else about him other than that, and that's the extent of my journalism on that one. The report was simply, there is interest and we admire him as a player, but that's it. That was it, basically. And final two, there we go, I can read my sheet now. We've discussed all work permits, we've discussed the contracts. No, sorry, final three. Football League World reported yesterday that we are interested in Will Smallbone. He was on loan at Stoke last season from Southampton. And to be fair, I think that is a very smart transfer, because he's not any better than someone like Slater. He's definitely not better than Seri or Tufan in midfield. But in terms of Doc and Ryan Woods, he is a little bit better than them as backups, and I would be absolutely fine with him coming in as a backup. He, like I say, wouldn't dislodge them, but I'd be absolutely fine with him coming in, because he's a smart signing. He's a hard worker. So I think if that one comes to fruition, that would be a decent deal. We'll go to Sonny Bradley now, last one in the thumbnail, and he's been heavily reported on City Twitter that he is going to be one of the first signings of the summer. I don't know anything. I know someone who knows Sonny, and they're not telling me anything other than Sonny is buying a house just across the bridge, and wherever he signs will be in driving distance from that house on the south bank of the Humber. That is literally it for that. So I'd like to give you some more exclusive info there, but quite simply, I don't have any to give. That's the long and short of it. And then finally, another one that's come out today, according to Manchester Evening News, got there in the end. Us and Luton are chasing Tom Heaton. Now, Tom Heaton was a brilliant goalkeeper in his pomp when he was playing for Burnley week in, week out. He was an absolutely phenomenal goalkeeper. He's been second or third choice at Man United in the last year. And they've just renewed his contract, used his 1 year option, but I don't think they're going to take any more. Any more years on him. He's 36 now, and Manchester Evening News report that we and Luton are interested. Luton, of course, needing a goalkeeper after Ethan Horvath's loan has ended, and us looking for Carl Darlow stuff. I think people have been panicking about Darlow and the Heaton stuff again. Like, we're in for Heaton means we're not in for Darlow. It doesn't mean that at all. It means Carl Darlow's our number one target, but we know we might not necessarily get him because there's a lot of competition. So we have got other targets to provide competition for Matt Ingram, just in case we don't get Darlow, and that is something I'm totally fine with. It's good to have contingency plans in place. Whenever you're planning a transfer window, you need to you'll have your primary targets, of course, but you also need targets to fall back on, and the club you know, they're not doing anything wrong by expressing interest maybe if we don't get the Darlow deal over the line. But it's early days of the transfer window, anything is possible. Work is happening behind the scenes. I don't think we're going to have 16 players, 17 players in like we did last summer, but I think it will still be an interesting one as we look to climb the table. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you later in the week, well, over next week for another one of these and another bit of content as well. Thank you for watching, take care, and goodbye.